Hey guys, and happy Tuesday. I'm so happy that you are able to join me this evening. The weather in Philadelphia is nice today. I'm your host, Shayrenee, and you can watch each and every episode, past and present, of the Indie Spotlight at my main Instagram page at Shayrenee215. All you have to do is go to my main page at Shayrenee215 and look underneath the IGTV tab. Also, make sure that you join my backup page, Shayrenee267. I am so excited to do this episode of the Indie Spotlight Special Edition Tuesdays. We're having Miss Carrol Riddick on, and she just came into the room, so we're going to start the interview now. Sometimes I aren't able to say it, but hey, how you guys are doing?
Hey.
Hey,
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
hey. You look beautiful today as well. I love your pictures on your page, I have to
Oh,
tell you.
thank you.
Yes,
Like my
yes,
Philly.
and you're from Philadelphia, so there's so many singers and artists that I admire from there.
Oh, so now where exactly are you from? Where are you from originally?
I'm from Philadelphia too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's all Philly love, all Philly love.
Yes, yes. I also want to thank you for being so reachable.
Oh,
Yes, yes. I want to thank you for being so reachable and making it like so easy for me to talk to you and to communicate with you. So
I'm
I thank you for
glad. I'm so glad.
that.
So glad.
Yeah. So you're from South Philadelphia, am I correct?
I am born and raised.
What was it like growing up in South Philadelphia?
It was, I'm sorry, my administrative assistant is here with me as you speak. Yes, mommy. Actually, you know what? So South Philly is the only area in Philly in which I've ever lived. I should. Well, no, that's not true.
Oh,
That's not
okay.
true. That's not true. After I thought about it, I've lived some. I must have blanked out those years. But in any event, I love South Philly. Where I grew up was at 15th and Bainbridge,
Mm-hmm.
which was right by South Street. So when I was younger, and look, my cousin just joined. Hey, you. So when I was younger, South Street, it was the it place. So I worked on
Mm-hmm.
South Street, hung out on South Street, and everything seemed to be right there. So it was more than fun for me. But I love
Mm.
Philly. I mean, I love everything about our city. You know,
Yeah,
I do. I
yeah,
feel like I really do. The ups, the downs, and in between.
yeah. What inspired you to start? What inspired you, or when did you start like sing? When did you start like singing?
Professionally, so I started singing as a little girl, a very, very, very little girl, but I didn't take myself
Mm.
seriously at that.
Mm.
Neither did my family, which was actually, it actually worked in my favor. Um, but I didn't start singing like in public
Mm.
until high school. I started singing with a
Oh.
band, the Maximum Level Band. So I started singing with them, with the guys, and they were actually hey, they were actually the ones who, like, who helped me hone my craft. They taught me so much about live performance. So by the
Mm.
time I got to Jeff and Will, I already had a few like pearls under my wing, and it was good.
Isn't that something? I was reading some things about you, and I know that you were singing somewhere and you met someone named Mr. Lassiter or James Lassiter.
Yes, JL, James Lassiter. So at the time, so I was singing for the wedding, thank you, mommy, of Deneen and Michael Young, who are still together, praise God.
Yeah.
Right? Listen, so I was singing at their wedding, and JL, James Lassiter, who was the manager of Jeff and Will at the time, was one of the groomsmen. And he asked me, after the wedding, he asked me if I'd be interested in working with Jeff and Will. And I mean, yes. Yes, absolutely.
Hmm.
So when at that time though, they were working on their last album, Home Base, and they were coming on the end of it, as a matter of fact. So I wasn't able, I did not, that's why I was not on the project itself, but they
Mm-hmm.
invited me to come on the tour because Gene and Renee were with them at the time and they were doing some vocals on the project. So yeah.
Isn't that something, like how you were able, how that happened? And weren't you able to sing? And that was Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff. And were you were able to sing at Will Smith's wedding, weren't you?
Yeah. Oh my good, you did do your research. Yes. 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 Yes, I sang at his first wedding to Cherie Zampino.
Yeah. Wow.
In Santa Barbara. I sure did. I sure
Wow.
did.
Isn't that amazing?
It is. Listen,
It is.
I cannot complain. You know, with life, it ebbs and flows, but at the core of it all, I mean, I'm grateful. My journey has been, I've been blessed. I really have. I really have.
I also looked at the extensive line of people that you have worked with, and you have worked with like some really, really, really good artists, both from Philly and not. I've seen that you I've seen that like you worked with Black Thought.
I did. Yeah. Okay. So I get the feeling that I'm going to say this a lot. You really did do your research. But hey, look, I'm seeing all my friends. I see Doug. I see Steph, Cordell. Like, oh, look, I'm okay. I'm because I just see everybody, all of my family. But yeah. So what happened was I was working at Access Music Group at the time with James Poitier, who executively produced my first CD, and Access's recording studio, the room was right next to the Roots room. And so we were working on this song, and James, I wonder if Tariq is here today, because I was saying I want a male's voice on here. I want it to be like a phone call where he's calling me, and you know, we were talking through the idea. So it came from the conversation that James and I were having, and it just so happened that Tariq was there that day. So I was like, hey, would you you know, he said, yeah, tell me what you want me to say. Like, oh, thank you. And that's how
that is awesome. That's awesome. You also worked with I also seen you recently singing Miss Patti Labelle.
Yes, Aunt Patti.
I did. I also think.
Yes, we love her. You know, I mean, who does not love her? There's so much to love. But yeah, it's been that in itself has been one of the most awesome experiences, you know, because, you know, her journey, you know, she's done some things. She's done some things, but just to be in, you know, just to be in her presence was a blessing in itself. But, you know, to work with her and to see her process and be a part of it was just awesome. Just mind blowing.
You also worked with Music Soul Child and Jill Scott.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Hey, Doc. But yeah, so that came about, and it's funny because when I met Music, he was I was more of a like big sister to him at the time. That was how our relationship, when it formed, we were instantly in those roles to one another. You know, I was a sister, he was a brother, and we would talk, and that was how our working relationship like came about, from our conversations of just sharing, just talking about life, you know. And with Jill, I first met her at I think it was called the Blue Moon at the time, which is no longer here.
Okay.
And I sang, and she wrote a poem for me that night. Yeah, which I still have. And at the time she was doing poetry and spoken word, and I was singing. And then years later, when she began to sing, she said, would you? I was like, yeah, why not? So we all came along for the love, like, you know, trying to help our girl. And that was how that happened. That was how that started. Whoops, making adjustments here.
You have so many interesting facts to talk about, and you have so many interesting people you worked with. I could probably talk to you for a long time. You also work with Anthony Hamilton.
Yes. Oh, wow. It's so funny. Yes. So when we did the song Float, I keep adjusting my camera. I'm sorry. Let me know if I'm
Oh, that's okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the song Float, which was that was an awesome experience because again, we were working, it was Larry Gold's at the time, Larry Gold's studio, and he had all of these rooms. And I was in one room, and Anthony and Junius Burvine were in the next room. And Anthony asked me, he's like, would you sing on this song? Like, yeah, what do you need? What do you need? And he talked me through the idea of it, and I was in love with it. I'm like, yeah, why not? Why not? So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I know that you do like a series at the jazz club in Philadelphia called South, and I went in there a few times because I went to community college. It's not far from the main campus of community college with Gerald Veasley, right?
Yes, yeah. So we've been performing a tribute to Nina Simone. But I was just there last week. Hey, Rosie! I'm sorry, I'm getting so excited. I get on 10 when I see my camera.
Feel free to give out as many shout outs as you want in between. I love it.
I love it. I need to do lives more often. I would see, in any event. So I was just there last week performing my own material, but I also I have been there a number of times with on the invitation of Gerald Veasley, because we've been performing a tribute to Nina Simone for a good minute now. We've traveled with it as well. We're actually recording it too. So I'm happy to say that too. If you all could see my fur child, she is so done with me right now.
Oh, what is her name?
Her name is Chloe, and she is you cute Chloe. You see Chloe.
Oh, look at
she's sitting in my lap. So yeah, she is a baby. She's a baby, but she takes full advantage of
that. And to add to one of your live performances, actually, that I looked at is you were singing. You were on stage and you were singing. You were doing the song. I think it's called "Nothing Has Ever Felt Like This" with Will Downing.
Yes, the duet.
And yeah.
Oh my goodness. So that, of course, as you know, that's the duet that he originally recorded with none other than the incomparable Miss Rochelle Farrell.
Oh, yes.
I love adore. Yeah, I was intimidated when he first asked me, to sing that song. But once I started working with him, and the more we sang it, the the more comfortable I felt, and the better and better I felt about singing it. I actually called her too. I called her when he first asked me to start, to come along on the road with him. And I called her. I said, I just want to let you know, just, blah, 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 blah. Just want to, you want to be good. You want to keep things good with everybody.
Yes, yes.
That's important to me. I keep adjusting this camera because I don't know what you all see. I don't know. Is that good? That's good, right?
Yeah, that's great. That's that's a good angle.
Okay.
So where can people find you at on social media?
I am all over social media. I'm on Instagram, as you know. I'm on Facebook as well. What else is there? I'm on, what else is there?
YouTube?
I'm on YouTube. Yes, thank you. That's so sad. That is so sad. I should have a cheat sheet or something, because I'm horrible.
That's right.
I am horrible.
So Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
Yes, thank you, Shay.
Okay,
I'm horrible.
It's a lot, social media has completely changed everything. Has completely changed a lot of stuff. I even have a time keeping up with it.
Yeah, it's a lot. Hey, cousin. Another one of my cousins just joined. Hey, cousin. Yeah, there's so much to stay on top of now. When social media first became the big thing, you just posted one, that was it, you were good. But now there are so many platforms, you have to be on top of it. And it's not a job at which I'm very good. It's not.
I definitely had to focus and learn more about it. I normally ask my guests, do they have a question to ask me? I have many more questions, but before I forget, do you have any questions? A question for me to answer?
No, actually, I don't. I don't.
Hey.
Do many most people have questions? Do they?
um, what is some of the best advice that you would give to an up and coming artist, whether they're going to be an R&B singer or they're going to be R&B royalty like you,
Oh,
or they're going to be any whatever type of artist they're going to be? What is like some of the best advice?
well, I tell anyone, I don't care who you are or what you do, to stay true to you, to stay faithful, number one, because having a base in faith is so important, because this industry will take you on some
Mm.
ups, downs, and some twists and turns, for which you will be unprepared. So having
Ah,
firm, firm, firm base in faith, is the number one thing. And the second thing, like I said, I tell everyone, just remain true to yourself, because you're the best you. You're the only you. You know,
mm-hmm.
you are the best version of you that there will ever be. You know, others may try to beat you, but you are the only you there is. And when you are your unapologetic self and authentic self, it comes across. People can feel that, they can sense it, you know,
Mm.
and it's a genuine spirit that translates so well. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, because this is what I tell people all the time. When you are who you are and were meant to be, it's undeniable. It is undeniable.
That's some good advice. That's awesome advice. Do you have any merch for sale?
I do, actually. I do. So I have another site that an Instagram page that actually has some
Okay.
of my products, but it's going to be, because I have a Carrol photography page, but I have some of the
Mm.
photos that I've taken, but my merch is going to be on there as well. So yes, I
Oh,
do.
okay.
No, you're welcome. Wait, I read you, because you said your last name is Lassiter too. I saw that. I'm trying to read too.
I went to school with Jade at Community College of Philadelphia.
Oh, nice.
I'm so happy you're reading the comments too.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Well, I have my new eyes. But yeah, yep. So I do have to say though, Philly was such a big help in, you know, my journey
Okay.
and my career thus far, because, you know, we had open mic nights, we
Mm.
had Blue Funk. I was the poster child for Blue Funk. You know, we had the Five Spot, which was a venue here that is no longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had there was so much. There was so much. We had we had Black Lily. There was
Mm-hmm.
so much, and there were so many venues at which we could share and we could work out, you know,
Mm.
becoming who we were going to be.
Yeah. Wow. Um, do you have any up and coming perform? I know you told me you were performing at South. But do you have any more up and coming performances, whether live or virtually?
Actually, I don't have anything here. I don't have any. I don't. That was the last here, because you know, everybody.
Yeah,
I have dates and they keep getting moved.
sure.
Understandably so, you know. But I've been thinking about doing something virtually, like maybe getting some friends together and just having a virtual jam session, for lack of a,
I yeah.
like do some fun stuff. Just do something fun,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And for those who can't attend, look, well, not attend. What am I talking? I keep saying that. I don't mean. Oh, don't listen to me. The virtual jam session.
I like it. I think that would be a really, really great idea. Um, due to the impact of COVID-19,
Mhm.
due to the impact that COVID-19 had on the live entertainment, music scene, and events, where do you see the future of like the music industry going, like with live, as far as live events?
You know, I've been having that conversation a lot lately, because
Mm-hmm.
I think right now it's too soon to say
Mm,
anything. Hey, Lamp. It's too soon to say to have formed a solid or legitimate opinion. You know,
sure.
there's so many variables. We're all still
Mm-hmm.
trying to figure each moment, every day, every second out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's just as an individual, as an artist. But the world itself still has not, it's still not begun to form yet what will become our new normal. So I don't know that I can legitimately, give you an answer to the
Mm-hmm.
question. But what I do believe is that whatever our new normal will be, it will definitely be totally different than that to which we
Mm-hmm.
had become familiar. You know, I,
Mm-hmm.
I don't I don't believe we will go back to what was completely, and I also don't know if that's a bad thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think in order to get better, sometimes it is necessary to completely tear down and rebuild.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I agree with that. I agree with that. Sometimes, yeah, a lot of things need to be addressed
Yeah,
and it comes out better.
and what better time than the present? You know, what better
Yeah.
time?
And I know you worked with a lot of artists,
Mhm.
but if there was any artist that you could work with that you haven't worked with yet, who do you feel like you would work with or would want to?
That would be Stevie Wonder. We've not worked together. We've been in the same company. We've been,
Yeah.
in the same like rooms, but we've never worked together. I've not worked with him, and I would love that experience.
I think you guys would make something very beautiful together.
Me
So
too.
I'm hoping that I'm hoping that happens. um, I know you're also a vocal coach,
Mm.
right?
Actually, I do performance coaching, so that's my forte.
Oh, performance coaching. Could you tell
Mhm.
me a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So now I did not. I feel like my forte is in performance, although I am a vocalist as well, but I am better able at helping individuals find who they are on stage. I think actually, I enjoy it because it's so, like, it's enlightening for me,
Hmm.
working with artists. Um, when you're starting out and you're trying to determine or figure out or put together who you are, um, we all need a little help. We all need a little help. Like I was just explaining to you, when I first started singing, I was in high school and I was with the guys, Maximum Level Band. They helped me to hone my skills, and they helped to shape who Carrol
Hmm.
is as a performing artist. And I think that's it's always nice to have a little help, and necessary for some people because some of us need it.
Definitely. I think like what you were saying about you being a coach and like where you've been at helps shape you as an artist and helps you grow and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did hear you say like that you're a live performance coach, like you help people.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I don't hear a whole lot. And I'm so glad that you are coaching and doing that because performing one thing, like in the studio, but performing live is a whole nother thing. It can be a whole nother
Yeah.
experience for the good or for the bad.
Oh no, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. And it's so necessary to be in touch um with with yourself. Like to be
Hmm.
grounded and to know what the message is that you're trying to relay. And it's necessary for you to determine the best way for you to relay that message, because everybody does not communicate the same way. But with
Hmm.
performance, it is there is interaction, and I believe it to be a conversation, because as the performing artist, you are sharing a message. We're the vessel at that point. We have a platform and we have a message that we're sharing, and you're trying to communicate to your audience, and you want them to feel, to know, and to understand everything that you're sharing with them. So I always think it's best for the individual to find the best way for them to relate it, because what might work for me might not work for you as a performing artist,
Right,
you know.
right. And it's also good to have a coach that also makes you feel makes you feel comfortable. And I feel that with you. I feel comfortable. I feel real like comfortable. Like I noticed that like going to school, like sometimes you could have people that really, really didn't make you feel comfortable. And the more comfortable you felt, you were able to give off like good vibes, good things.
Wait, Shay, now you're telling my business. You're telling my business. That is so true. Listen, in high school, Sister Chris, she used to scare the crap out of me. And she was my algebra teacher in my freshman year. It was the only time I ever went to summer school because I was terrified of her. I went to summer school and passed everything because the teacher.
Feeling comfortable. I like that. I really like that about you. Are you with any organizations or are you working with any organizations or venues currently?
Well, I am a national trustee with the Recording Academy, which is the organization that hosts the Grammy Awards. So I'm in my first term, because it's a 2-year term. So I'm in the first half of my term now with the Recording Academy. I sit on the board for the Philadelphia Music Alliance, which is the organization, for those who are unfamiliar, it's the organization that determines who will receive those plaques that are on the Avenue of the Arts, Broad Street, for those who've lived here for a good time. But so I sit on that board as well. I'm on the Philadelphia Music Industry Task Force as well. Wow. What else do I do? I'm a program coordinator for DASH, which is an organization. DASH stands for Destined to Achieve Successful Heights. And this organization provides music and business education about the entertainment industry to young adults.
Where is DASH? So I like that, like about there's a huge important part about a lot of musicians that have started doing this that don't know a lot about the business aspect of it. It's a lot of business aspect and promotional aspect. So where can they, like, is that a website or is that an actual, like, is that virtual or is that like an actual class or organization?
So the DASH,
that you can go to.
I'm so sorry to have interrupted. The DASH works with the schools and youth organizations.
Oh, okay.
So they work primarily through the schools and the youth organizations. But excuse me. But what was I about to say? Oh yeah, that was there is a website. Dashprograms.org. Dashprograms.org is the website to find more about it. But yeah, I enjoy that. I enjoy watching the students and how they how they progress through the courses. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah, I actually did 2 music business classes. One in community college, and I also know that you went to Temple University.
I did,
and so did I. But I didn't stay. But I went to, no. And I had one in Temple University, and I wish they would have had like you talk for music business.
Yeah,
yeah.
I studied communication. Well, I had a major in communications and a minor in criminal justice, but because I had this huge interest in law. I was like, but yeah, you're absolutely right. Because I only did 2 years, so I did not finish. I did not do the complete 4 years. But I spent more time, the majority of my time after school was at WRTI because I used to collect the sound bites. But I was always hopeful that, because it's that one-on-one experience that you have. It may not be a one-on-one experience, but it's the feeling of having a one-on-one experience. And that typically works better for me. And, and when I was attending Temple, my classes were 200 to 300 people,
Wow.
Communications. Everybody was a communications major.
Yeah.
But they called it RTF then, radio, television, and film.
Oh, okay.
That's how long ago that
was. Do you currently reside still in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania?
I do.
Oh, okay.
I do. Yeah.
Awesome.
No, I love Philly. I do.
And what is your website? You said you do have a website, right?
Yes. So I have a link. So my link tree, it's on my Instagram as well. It's
Okay.
linktree/Carrol Riddick, but it has everything having to do with who Carrol Riddick is and what she does. Everything is in that link. Everything about Carrol Riddick.
Okay, so someone has a question.
Ooh. Oh, the Music Industry Task Force. Oh, okay. So what happened was the mayor actually formed a task force, and it's been under the direction of David O, Councilman David O, with whom you might be familiar. He usually hosts the talent. There's a talent contest that he would host every year. But David O, he heads the Music Industry Task Force, and there are a group of people. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember who formed. I shouldn't say that. Who actually formed it? But David O runs the task force. So we get together and we talk about how we can improve relations for musicians and those in the entertainment industry in the city of Philadelphia and surrounding areas. We've actually been we've come to a halt because of everything going on.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. David, oh, he is. Hey there, hey. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So yeah, but it's when the task force was newly formed, we
Hmm.
we I hate to say, because since we've come to a halt now, we were really on a roll, trying
Wow.
to, yeah, we all had a lot of ideas. There were
Hmm.
we had a whole lot of, great ideas, because all of us who are on the task force are those who are, we work in and around the city. And I'm just hoping for it to start back up soon so we can,
Sure.
yeah, continue and put some of these things to life, make some of these things come to life.
Well, hopefully, when it's better, when like the pandemic, and when there's a hold on the pandemic and things are a little bit better in the world, I will be able to work with you in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, we're going to make that happen.
Yeah. Yes.
Listen, what I'm learning, what I knew, and what I know even more so now is that life is entirely too short. If
Yes.
there's no time better than the present. So let's just do it.
Hmm.
Let's just make it happen. Let's just do it.
Yes.
You know.
Do you have any vocals? So do you have any like vocal tips for anyone that's like singing, or like any kind of vocal tips that you would have?
You know, well, the things that I would have to say, some people might not like, because I,
But
I tell you, because
it's going to be the truth.
well, it is the absolute truth. Michael, hi. So, but I do
Hmm.
tell, what a lot of people don't understand, and some choose not to recognize, is that your entire body is your instrument.
Mm.
So it is very important, the things you put into, the things you expose,
Mm.
your instrument too, all affect your instrument. So
Mm.
no matter what you eat, what you drink, the air in which you breathe, everything contributes to the temple. That is your instrument. So I tell everyone to think carefully, every vocalist to think carefully about what you eat, about what you drink, about how you move, because
Mm.
everything you do, everything you say, everything you drink, it does contribute, trust me, and believe me when I
Mhm.
say it, to your instrument, as well as getting enough sleep. you know ev-
Yeah.
everything contributes, and I can't say that enough. A lot of people take it lightly, but you could eat something that could really, really, like caffeine. A lot of people like
Hmm.
coffee, or caffeinated beverages, or what have you, or caffeine. Caffeine is a dehydrant. Alcohol is a dehydrant. These things work
Hmm.
against your instrument. So and I don't say
Right.
to anybody not to do what you do, but I do say be careful. Be careful of
Hmm.
things that you do. Menthol is not always a good thing. Just just pay attention to your body, because it will tell you, and pay attention to
Hmm.
the things that you digest and ingest, and the space in which you place your temple.
You know, that is some really great advice because your whole body, like you said, including your voice, is the instrument. And it can be
Absolutely.
affected in many ways depending on what you consume, depending on what you consume.
Okay, absolutely. Like, yeah, see, like ice cream, Ray said ice cream. Like something, yeah, if because your
Hmm.
body, you have to pay attention to your body. Your body will tell you. It will tell you. Like, don't do that again. So, you know.
And then you're on stage and then there's lights and,
Oh yeah.
and all that.
And all that. Yeah. That part. That part right there.
Yeah. I didn't really look at it like that, but it is. And when you're like, and when you're singing, like sometimes, depending on how you're performing, you're doing like a whole like workout.
Oh, you are. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, you absolutely are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You better be prepared to work out because it is. It is.
Hmm.
As
I just,
sometimes people say, well, I mean, you're just singing. You're not doing anything but singing. So, people say that. They ask, well, what,
yeah.
they just, what do you mean? What do you mean you're tired? Well, it takes a lot. Number one, people don't think about the science of it either because as simplistic as it may appear or seem, you being, as I was saying earlier, it's a conversation. So that's
Hmm.
communication. So you have to put effort as the
Hmm.
artist, as the vocalist to get your message across. So you're
Hmm.
emoting because you want those to whom you're speaking or singing or with whom you're sharing to emote as well. So you're going through
Hmm.
all kinds of changes. You're taking your body through all kinds of changes. And trust me when I tell you, breathing isn't always that easy when you're trying to control what when you're trying to control it. It is not exactly the easiest thing. So, after, like, I tell people I have a good hour after a show where I'm still, my adrenaline is still high. But if I don't
Hmm.
take advantage of that hour, then it's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'm in the car taking the lashes off. I'm like, I call it my uniform. I start removing my
Hmm.
uniform as soon as I get in the car because I know I start coming down, and that's it. That is it. That's
what
it.
so what tips and advice do you have about working in the studio, and what tips and advice do you have about working in the studio?
Being in some people work better in the studio, and
Mm,
some work better in live scenarios. Um,
mm,
I happen to believe that I'm better live. And
mm,
Hey Steve. I happen to believe that I work better in a live performance scenario than in the studio. So what I do to help me is I bring candles, and I like to set the mood for myself. The atmosphere. I
mm-hmm,
set the atmosphere to help me get to where I need to be, so that I can perform, so that you hear it on the recording itself. But it's all about finding what works for you. And I tell people that too because we're creatives, so
mm-hmm,
everything is fluid with us. We're up, we're down, we're
mm-hmm,
in between, all at the same time. So it's always a
mm-hmm.
matter of finding what works best for you to get you where you need to be and to help you perform at your best.
And lastly, what about the tips? Lastly, about
Okay.
the tips. What advice? What advice or tips would you give about working with other artists?
I think it's always important to develop a rapport. Like for me, if time permits, and I like to schedule it so that we take some time to get to know each other first. Like even if we just have a meal, we could have some food,
Mm-hmm,
just break bread together, because it's very personal when you create. Creativity is so personal. It's a very personal exchange,
mm-hmm,
and that for me it can be uncomfortable if it's something with whom I've not exchanged a good bit of energy. So
mm-hmm,
when I'm going to work with someone, I really like to develop some sort of a rapport first.
mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that, now listen, I'm not saying that it will always be good, okay? Because sometimes you meet some energy that you just really do not want to share space with which you really don't want to share space. So let me be honest
Mm-hmm.
about that. But the thing about it, again, is knowing who you are and finding what will work for you. Because in those moments, it's really important to find what makes you happy and how to reach that. Tap into that.
Do you have so so we can find your music on all streaming platforms such as Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, and iTunes,
You
and Apple
find me
Music.
everywhere.
Everywhere. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Thank goodness for that.
It's so like the streaming platforms I noticed, so like when different artists came out, like it was CD, it was tapes, then there were CDs, and now it's
Oh,
everything is about streaming. everything is about streaming. How
hey,
do you
Chelsea. Everything. I'm sorry.
oh,
Hey,
your friend
hello.
came in?
I
No,
get
that's fine.
excited. I'm getting excited.
No, please shout out as many people as you can find. Um,
So you were asking about
when you like,
finding the material,
yeah, like about when you look for like a streaming, like when I'm trying to ask like different artists' opinions on the streaming platforms that they use,
okay.
and do they like them? How do they feel about liking them? Do you like the streaming platform that you use, or I'm sorry, the streaming distribution that you use?
Oh, okay.
Do you like it?
Okay. I was about to say because yeah. Well, it's again a matter of finding what works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's always give and take with with every organization, every entity. There's always give and take. So it's a matter of finding what works for you. Everybody has a different budget with which they work. Everybody has,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has different goals.
Mm-hmm.
So finding what works for you, as you'll hear me repeat, is the best thing, the best answer I can give you.
From when you started, in order to be like a to get like gigs as a live performer,
Mm-hmm.
is it more difficult? Was it more difficult then, or is it more difficult now to try to find like gigs as a performer or an up and coming
Well,
artist? Or
remember,
is it?
okay, so remember my first tour, I was 19, I think it was when
Mm-hmm.
I did my
Mm-hmm.
first tour.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So back then, wow, it sounds so, it was long ago, but back then, there weren't really independent artists. Everybody was signed to,
Mm-hmm.
so, in the comparison to when I was, because I think the last tour I did was in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
I'd come off the road at the end of December of 17, but I'd come off the road to take care of my mother. But the difference then and now, again, I was saying back then we had a lot of major labels. So the goal
Mm-hmm.
was the goal of every artist was to be signed to a major label. And then as the as the industry changed, as it does and as it will again,
Mm-hmm.
more artists became independents. So now we have I think we may have 3 like really really major labels left, if I'm not mistaken. I
Mm-hmm.
don't charge that.
No, you're right.
So we have about 3 major labels left now, and the brunt of pushing your project is now on the artist because there are so many independents. I always tell people when you're thinking about being an artist, becoming touring is such a big part of it, because you've got to think about how you can how do you become relevant in the industry, how do you maintain relevance in the industry, and
Mm-hmm.
how, because you're thinking about promoters who you're going to want to book you. They're going to ask, okay, what is going to put people in the seats, who's going to come
Mm-hmm.
to you. So
Mm-hmm.
there's such a difference now because and I think it's a little more difficult. I would say it's a little I'd say it's
I would say
I would
so.
say a little more difficult now to answer your question. I was trying to say why, but there's so much,
Wow.
there's so many reasons.
It
There's so
is.
many things that I could add to that, but I say at the crux of it right now, because there are so many independent artists in addition to the major label artists that we have, you know, which is a bigger machine. You know, you have to think about,
Hmm.
okay, who is going to hire me? Who's going to put me in a venue? Because you
Yeah.
have to be able to sell tickets. You have to be able to put
Hmm.
people in the seats. Somebody has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the challenge that as an independent artist, um, yeah, that's the biggest challenge, you know, because there
Yeah,
are
the
so many
cells.
of us.
Hmm.
There's so many of us.
Yeah, and you were talking about the last time you went on tour. What is tour life like? Because I've never did no type of tour, and I've never, and not even assisted like or seen. I've seen people go on tour, but I've never like been around a tour. So I'm so curious about what tour like. What is
Oh
touring like?
I love to. Yeah, right. I toured what from 19 until was it 2017, until I was 19 years old, until 2017. I love being on the road. I really do. But tour, it is definitely a lifestyle. It's a mindset, and you have to be prepared for it. I mean, it's not a game. It is not a game. You know, you have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
You do have a lot of fun if you're doing what you love, but it is not a game
Mm-hmm.
because you are there to do a job. You're there to work.
Mm-hmm.
So there,
Mm-hmm.
you don't you don't oftentimes get a lot of sleep. You know, uh, unless you're on a bus tour and you may get some good sleep on a long trip. Like if you have you may do a show that's in California somewhere, and then you may do another one that's in Atlanta or something. So you'll sleep,
Mm-hmm.
or you'll have downtime on the ride,
Yeah.
you know, to and from. But um, that's if it's a bus tour, because sometimes we fly. You know, it depends on a lot. It depends on the artist. It
Mm-hmm.
depends on the genre. It depends on the budget.
Mm-hmm.
It just depends on a lot. So there's a lot that I could say about touring, but at the
Mm-hmm.
core of it, I love it. I do. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I love being, I love the life of it. I love
Mm-hmm.
being on the bus. I love, you know,
Mm-hmm.
being on the road. I love all of it. I do.
And something else that also is amazing about your career is the longevity of it. The longevity of it. It's just it's so much stuff going on with the music business, but the longevity of your career is really something to it's really something to look at.
I think that's
And that's
divine orchestration. I can't even say that I did anything to contribute. That's divine orchestration.
um
Hey, Paul.
what was one of the what was one of your favorite towns or countries that you toured at
Ooh,
or
ooh,
that you
ooh.
performed at?
I just said this yesterday. I love Amsterdam. Amsterdam.
You love Amsterdam?
Yes, I love Amsterdam. I love France. I love Vienna. Like, I love Germany. Like my favorites. Um, it's just, oh, I love, no, you just, listen, I could live in any one of those, but
Wow.
yeah, there's just like, I love Belgium. There's so many places. Well, I love to travel, so that's one part of it. But but
Yeah.
but yeah, there's something. Here's something about me though. I mean, I could. It doesn't matter where I am, because I am going to make the best of it, and I'm going to find something about it that appeals to me. I'm going to make it work for me. So it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where I am. Um, but I do love those places, you know. But I like different things. I like in Amsterdam, I love the architecture, and I loved shopping there, and you know, and well, depending on where you are in France, because in Paris, I love, you know, the comparison to Philadelphia and the city, like New York and Philadelphia. I see in Paris, I see it, and of course, we copied Champs Elysees. You know, that's our the concourse of the off of Parkside Avenue. That's all the Champs
Mm.
Elysees. You know, so that was just that the familiarity of that was just always wonderful. But the south of France, I love the countryside, and so that was just different things about different places. Like I said, it doesn't matter where I am. I'm going to find something that appeals to me, because number one, at the root of it all, I'm just grateful to be there. So.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the bottom line for me.
I know like Instagram normally doesn't let you go like beyond a certain amount of time. And I
Mhm.
feel like I'm having like a really nice and great like intimate conversation with you.
Okay.
And I'm loving it. So before I do wrap up the interview, I'm trying to find out one more thing that I want to ask. Is there anyone that you have been working with recently on any of your, do you have a recent project that you would like to talk about or anybody you're working with recently?
Yeah, actually, I went into the studio with some of my own band. There's another one of my cousins. Hey, cuz. Um, yes, I went into the studio with some of my own band members, with Denard and Lenny and Sean and Mike and Bria and Justin, because Justin was on here earlier. We went into the studio and started working on some things. So I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the space that I'm in right now. I'm working out. I can't really
Mhm.
say what the next, like what the subject matter will be of the next project
Oh,
just
sure, that's
yet.
fine.
Well, no, only because I don't know. I mean, I would tell you if
Oh,
I,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
if I knew, I'd share. I'd share. But yeah, I don't know yet because I'm still in the space of finding it out myself. You know, I have so
Yeah.
much that I want to talk about, but I think
Hmm.
it's always necessary to kind of pinpoint when you're putting a project together.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
so
There's so many things to talk about, yeah, but to like I
yeah.
know what you mean, like focus on your topic and focus on what your project's about.
Mhm. To make
So I
it
definitely
cohesive.
understand that.
Yeah, I don't want it to be all over the
Yeah.
place. You know. I don't want to say Carrol was all over the place.
Is there anything you would like to is there anything you would like to add? Is there anything you would like to add or like to talk about?
Yeah, I was doing lives every once and again. I don't do them that often. But I had done a few in the past because I began to get concerned. I was talking to some people here and there, and I just want everybody to keep in mind that we are in a pandemic, number one, and that
Hmm.
number two, that we are all in this together. And I just really, really, really want to ask you all to be good to yourselves and to be good to those around you, because we're all dealing with this, and we're all, working through ups, downs, and in betweens. I can't keep saying it enough. But, there's so much with which we are all dealing, and some people are having a worse time than others trying to work
Hmm.
through it, and I say that because, like I said, I've know people who are not having such a great time working through, or navigating where we are right now. So I'm just asking
Hmm.
that we all be good to ourselves, because we all need it. A little extra self-love won't hurt.
Hmm.
And to be good to
Amen.
those
Yeah.
around you, because when you feel good, you 9 times out of 10, you might just treat the next person a little better. Hey, cuz, Armand. So I saw Tamir, I saw Armand, I saw Cherry, all my family. It's because I haven't seen anybody. But yeah.
Well, I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you, and I also wanted to say that like interviewing you and making like this is actually like keeping somewhat sanity, being able to have communication with everyone
Oh,
during this stuff we're doing.
that's
So yeah, I wanted to thank you. I want to thank the viewers and thank the guests, and I did want to thank you again for coming on here, for coming on, and just talking to me and talking to everyone and telling everybody what you've been up to because you've been up to some pretty good stuff.
I'm doing
And
my best.
we had some pretty good stuff, and you had some really great advice.
Oh, good. I hope so. I hope it's helpful. But thank you for sharing your platform, because I appreciate the invitation to come and talk with you. You say that about getting through this time. That was the reason that I started my podcast, because I thought it was so
Oh,
necessary. Well, checking in, number one, but also because I feel like as creatives we need an outlet. And
yeah.
it's it we need to be able to share and to express ourselves. And I thought, and there's no better way than just have some conversations and share.
What is the name of your podcast, and when do you do it?
It's called Conversations Inside the Music. with Carrol Riddick. So I have an Instagram page for that as well, but my YouTube page where you can find all of the past episodes, Conversations Inside the Music, and on Twitter, Chat and Chill.
Awesome. So Chat and Chill on Twitter,
And
Conversations with Carrol Riddick, you said?
Conversations Inside the Music. Yeah.
Oh, Conversations Inside the Music. That's
Mm-hmm.
on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And that's your
YouTube
podcast.
and Instagram. So you can see, yeah. And if you
can see
go
it on
to
Instagram.
IG, if you look up Conversations Inside the Music on IG, the link is on it. It'll take you right to all the platforms.
All the
You
platforms.
can find
Awesome.
it.
So I'm
You can
definitely
find
going
it
to check
wherever
that
you
out.
listen to your podcasts.
Great. I'm going to check. I'm definitely going to check that out.
Okay.
I wanted to say thank you and thank everybody for watching and thank everybody for tuning in and thank you, Carrol Riddick,
Thank you.
for coming and joining us tonight or joining me tonight for the Indie Spotlight
And
Special
yes,
Edition.
Ray. Yes. And thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, Ray.
No
It's
problem.
everywhere, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
So I'm definitely going to listen to that, and I definitely want to make sure that make sure that I wrap up before actually like IG will like kick me off because I don't want to
Okay,
be
yes.
kicked off,
No,
and I definitely got to save it.
That's to everybody, sending love and hugs and all of that good stuff.
Thank you so much.
Bye,
Thank you so much, Carol. Ray. Have a great night. Oh, great
You
evening.
too.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.